Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natasha if it is your first time here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a palette review on the Colourpop Cosmetics x Kathleen Lights Jaded eyeshadow palette. This is the first large eyeshadow palette that Colourpop is doing. It's 30 pans. I believe it retails for $38, and they did it with Kathleen. And I think this palette, like the whole theme of this palette, is like jewel tones, crystally shades. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. So this is just what the palette looks like on the outside, same as the box. Super cute with the crystals. It says So Jaded on it. On the back here you have like all the shades and the same kind of crystal thing. So let's open it up. Alright. So here is the palette on the inside. Really pretty. Lots of jewel tones, lots of mauves. There's a bunch of different formulas in here. There's metallics, shimmers, there's pressed glitters, there's mattes, there is a super shock shadow, I believe. Really pretty. There's no mirror, which is kind of disappointing, especially since like it is such a huge palette, but I guess I can understand when a palette is this big, like, do you really want a mirror in it, you know? But whatever. So let's see, let's look at it. I'm actually really excited about this. I don't like the fact that they put the two pressed glitters in here, which are these shades in the middle here, this topaz and this opal. These are the pressed glitters, and they're not eye safe, so I just don't understand why I put them in an eyeshadow palette if they're not eye safe. But that's just me, I guess. Really pretty. The colors are almost like a little muted in the fact that they are like kind of more mauve-y. I'm really interested in like this color right here, this tiger's eye color. It's like a smoky, bronzy, really pretty. And I love this like ruby shade up here. So I think what I'm going to do is one eye with one and then one eye with another. You know how I do when I try out a palette, especially because this has so many shades in it. So I put on the rest of my face already because I really just wanted to focus on the eyeshadow in this one. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's start with this eye right here because it's my bad eye. And I think I want to kind of go for a more red. I really want to use this ruby shade all over the lid. So I'm going to start with this palette. And just to build up my crease, I think I'm going to go in with this color right here in Citrine, which is a beautiful kind of muted yellowy color. And just start building up my crease. Let me clip my hair back first because I know it'll get in my way. So this is really exciting that Colourpop is like come out with these big palettes. Like I wonder if that's going to be something they plan on doing a lot in the future, kind of like Morphe, or I'm trying to think of like other brands that have big palettes. Like Morphe is like the one that like really comes to mind when I think of like huge palettes like this. And I'm going to go in with that shade Citrine and just start building up my crease. So I kind of say the same thing every time I try out a Colourpop palette, is that the shadows all tend to be the same quality. They're really good shadows for the price especially, and I don't ever feel like, especially they do a lot of collabs and they have so many palettes come out, I never really feel like the quality of the eyeshadow differs. It's mainly just like playing around with the different colors and seeing the different color stories. I love a good yellow eyeshadow, like a good yellow transition shade.
I'm feeling way too low to start this night, but I wanna get to your bash.
And I really like Kathleen Lights. She's one of my favorite YouTubers to watch because I feel like she's so genuine and she just like kind of stays in her own little world in Florida and does her own thing. I think I have all of the other palettes that she's done. I have the Zodiac palette. I have the Dream Street palette. I have the Zodiac pigments, the Zodiac blushes. I have some of the lipsticks she's come out with. I have some of the super shock shadows from the very beginning that she's released with Colourpop. She's like the Colourpop collab girl. Like, I think only the collab she's done is with Colourpop actually. Alright, so I got that transition on. Now I'm going to deepen up the crease a little bit. I'm going to take a Morphe M433 and I think I'm going to go into the shade right here in, what is it called? Carnelian. It's like kind of like a burnt orangey terracotta-y shade. I'm going to go in with that and deepen up the crease.
Last night you tried to make me angry, yeah, but this time I get
And then just to deepen it up just a tiny bit more before I go in with that lid shade, I'm going to take this shade right here in Garnet. It's like a dark red, and kind of just do the same thing to just keep deepening it with the same brush. Kind of looking like a sunset on my eye right now. I'm going to go in with that original brush. No extra product on it, just take that original brush I used for the transition and just kind of lightly blend out the edges. So this is what we got so far. Just with those 3 shades. Really pretty, a nice kind of warm smokiness we got going on right now. I am going to take with my finger and I'm going to go right into the shade Ruby up top here, which is like this red shimmery metallic shade. Ooh, yeah, really pretty. And I'm going to put that all over my lid. And then I'll take that brush and just start feathering out the edges.
Sometimes I wonder how I managed to get.
And then back with that original transition brush, I'm going to dip right back into the citrine shade just to kind of brighten up and add a little bit more of that yellow on the outside here. Super light pressure. Alright, and then this is what I got for this eye so far without the lower lash line. Just like a nice, pretty, almost sunset-y, smoky eye. Yeah, really pretty. I'm really liking the way that this eye turned out. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the other eye here. So this is what we got so far. Just a nice smokiness, really pretty. So for the other side, I really want to go in with that tiger eye shade, but I'm trying to figure out like what I want to do. Do I want to go into the greens? Do I want to kind of stay with like the same warm crease situation I got going on? I really want to go in with the greens. So I think I'm going to start right here with this shade in Geodude. It's like a khaki transition shade, and I'm going to go in with that with just a fluffy brush and start building up my transition. So into the shade Geodude, which is like such a cute name, and like if you're a Pokemon person, like if you grew up loving Pokemon and watching Pokemon movies and stuff, it like has like a place in your heart, I feel like. So just get that on my brush and I'm going to start building up the crease on this side. And for like the style of look, I'm pretty much going to go for like the same style, just like a nice easy smoke with a shimmery lid. But I wanted to use some different colors.
So lost in your eyes. It's like you're made of something pure that I'm not. But I'm so glad you are with me. Oh, don't need a.
This shade is so pretty. It's actually blending out a little bit warmer and a little bit more like tan colored, bronze colored than I expected from the palette. In the palette, it's like more like a gray khaki, but this is looking really pretty. Okay, so now I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here in Jade. It is just like a nice army green color, and I'm going to use that to build up and darken the crease. Now, I did watch Kathleen's video where she did go over all the shadows, and she said that this shadow can easily become muddy if you work on it for too long. So I'm going to try to be pretty precise with it when I go in with my blending.
But you can't get enough of the weekend. I wanna seize the night like I can't let go. Can't get enough of the weekend. Don't want.
So it is blending out really nicely, but I can already see how it can start to get muddy and start to get weird because the color in the pan, it looks a lot more green than when it's showing up on your eye. So when you try to just overload it and build it and it starts mixing with other shadows, it does really easily become kind of muddy and almost a little like gray. So I'm going to just do a little bit more with this shade, and then I'm going to move on because I don't want it to get too weird.
Brighter than a diamond.
But really pretty so far, I think. Especially for fall, if you really like olives, like a nice olivey smoky eye. Ooh, if you had like brown eyes or hazel eyes, an olivey smoky eye is so pretty. It just really pulls kind of the yellow out of your eyes. So now I'm going to go in with kind of a smaller blending brush, and I'm going to take the shade right here. It's called Stoned, which I think is hilarious, especially because this is like a whole gemstone thing. It's like a nice play on words. And it is like a dark gray, almost like a gray brown. And I'm just going to slightly use that to just darken it up a little bit before I go in with that tiger eye shade.
Your shine is lighter, lighter than the sunlight. Lighter than the sunlight. You're lighter than the sunlight. Lighter than the sun.
And then back in with that original crease brush and just kind of blend out the edges. So this is what we got going so far before we put that lid shade on. Just like a nice olivey smoky eye. And now I'm going to go right in with my finger to that tiger eye shade right here. So pretty. This is like one of those lid shades that I feel like I can wear all the time. Like I love a good just like kind of bronzy but like a little bit darker lid shade. Oh yeah, so pretty. Really soft. Just gonna use my finger to do the majority of the work in the beginning. The shade goes perfectly with those crease colors that I put down. Like, I almost feel like I don't even need to blend it out very much. And then back in with that crease brush, just kind of to blend out the edges. So what I think I'm going to do to kind of tie them both in together is I'm going to go in with that shade Citrine that I used all over this eye for the transition. And I'm going to lightly add it on this eye just to kind of pull the yellow in both of them. I think that'll be really pretty. Just on like the outside here. Yeah, I really like that. I've added it. It kind of helps pull the gold sparkles out of the tiger eyeshadow too, so it makes them look a little bit more apparent. Pretty. So I like both of them. I think I like this one over here with the tiger's eye more, just because it's just like such a beautiful kind of just all over smoke, really pretty. And then this side is just like a nice sunsetty. It kind of reminds me almost of like a tequila sunrise, or it makes me want a tequila sunrise, I guess. So let's do the lower lash line real quick. I'm just basically going to do like the transitions I did on this eye, under this eye, same, under this eye. Alright, so for the lower lash line on this one, I'm going to take the shades Carnelian and Garnet and just first push that up against the lash line and kind of add the definition and the color. Ooh, my eyes are watering. And then under that, to blend that out, I'm going to take that Citrine shade. Alright, and then for the other eye, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Jade and the shade Stoned and do the same exact thing, and then I'm going to take the Citrine shade and kind of blend out under that. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Really pretty. I don't really feel like there's like a crazy good brow bone shade in here. Like maybe this shade right here in Moonstone. Let me go ahead and take a brush and I'll try to put some of this Moonstone on my brow bone. Moonstone is like such a shade that is like, I feel like every makeup brand has a shade of something, whether it be a highlighter, an eyeshadow, or whatever, in the shade Moonstone. Like that's such a name that's used. And just lightly dust that.
We can't let go.
Oh, it has like a hint of like blue in it. Interesting.
Can't get enough of the weekend.
Okay, so I don't really know if I want to do an inner corner highlight. Sometimes I feel like when I put an inner corner in, it irritates my eyes because it just all kind of like goes into my eye. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't just sit on my inner corner, it ends up like getting into my eye. So I think I'm going to skip an inner corner highlight. I am going to hop off camera and throw on some mascara real fast, and then I'll be right back to kind of give like a final review of the palette. Okay, so I'm back. So this is the final look with a lip on and some mascara. I think it's really pretty. I think these two different eyes go together. So let's go ahead and give the final review for the palette. I think the packaging on the palette is beautiful. I think the color story of the whole palette is really pretty. I love all the names and how they have to do with like crystals and stuff. I'm not like super into crystals myself, but to each their own. I like everything about the palette. My only real complaint is that those two pressed glitter shades in there, just because they're not eye safe. It's just kind of like why put them in an eyeshadow palette, because it's not really labeled very distinctly that they're not eye safe. So if like for instance I were to buy a palette like this and give it to my niece or something and I didn't tell her, like those can cut your eye. Like that's not good for your eye. So it just kind of is just irritating to me that they keep putting those like pressed glitter shades in palettes. But other than that, I think this is a really beautiful color story. It's not something that I have seen before, just in the sense of like all the colors are a little bit more muted. They're a little bit more mauve. They're more jewel toned. They're just like colors you've seen before, but in almost like a different tone, which I think is really interesting, and I think that's really awesome. You can do so many different looks with this palette because there is so many different colors. I stuck with like the reds and the greens today, and I love both the looks I came out with. I think the quality of the shadows is really great. Let me know in the comments like which one out of the two eye looks I did you like better. And also this palette is huge. If you want me to post another video where I'm doing like two completely other looks, or even just one more look using like some of the purples or the greens or some of these kind of fun blue colors, like I think this color up here in Fluorite is really pretty. It's almost like a silvery lavender type look. I'll definitely do that. Let me know in the comments down below. This palette is available on the Colourpop website right now. It is $38, which is kind of like a little expensive for Colourpop, but it's 30 shadows, so you're paying a little bit over $1 for each one of these shadows, and it is great quality. And this is kind of like one of those like the only eyeshadow palette you'll ever need type of thing, because there is so many different colors in here, so many different finishes. It is a really great palette. I'm really happy for Kathleen, so congrats on that, Kathleen. I'm happy with the look I came up with. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this video. Let me know how you feel about eyeshadow palette reviews, if you prefer if I do like my whole face, if you like that I already had my face done and I went straight into the eyeshadow. If there are certain colors in this palette that you would like to see me use, let me know that as well. Don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms. On Instagram, it's at NatashaJosetteBeauty. On Twitter, it's at NatashaJosette. I post here on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!